What's up, everybody? Well, today I'm here to bring you another installment of the series that I call the FrankenHoover, where I disassemble and build various Hoover Elites to make one working vacuum out of it. And basically, I do this to mostly test my creativity. In today's creation, I have taken my beloved Hoover Encore Supreme that I have loved to death since it first joined my collection, since this was one of my childhood vacuums, but I gave it a vintage twist. Originally, I had a request to basically build this Encore Supreme and give it a side mount tool rack. As you know, these things had the wraparound hose in the back. And a viewer requested that I put the side mount stretch hose on it. And although that would be nice, but then again, knowing how these Encores were, they were basically the lower end of the Hoover Elites. So they weren't meant to be top of the line. Even the Supremes were. As people know, the difference between like regular Elite and then Elite Supreme. The Supreme is a little bit more feature rich, but not by much. But anyway, I basically decided at least to give it the plastic hose, so it at least has a side mount hose. And I think back in the day, even if it were something branded like this, it would have came with at least the side mount plastic hose back then. As you can see, I basically gave it a vintage twist by adding in a gray body, as well as the gray hose and attachments. And although admittedly it does look pretty nice, and in my opinion, something about this gray body with the powder blue color scheme definitely makes the vacuum stand out, in my opinion. So let's go ahead and give a walkthrough. So right up here you have your pretty kind of small handle grip. It doesn't have the big deluxe handle. It's kind of the thing with these lower end Elites. They didn't have the deluxe handle grip, which is not a major deal, but yeah, I can almost wrap my entire hand around this handle. So as we move on down here, being the lower end, it has this spot for where an air freshener tablet would have gone, but this never came with it. And later versions of this actually did away with the air freshener altogether, and they actually had some vents at the top. Move on down here, you have your Encore Supreme lettering on front, and it says energy efficient right there. Open up the bag and reveals your generic type A HEPA bag. I like to run HEPA bags for increased filtration, and this one definitely filters out much better than the original genuine paper bags these came with. You move down here, we have your stair cleaning handle. Basically just hold this and you basically can clean up carpeted stairs. Down here you have your 4-position carpet height adjustment. And right here you have your nice big Hoover lettering right here, prominent Hoover symbol over there. Your cleaning effectiveness per amp, this is just Hoover's marketing technique, whereas see it's rated 15.5. This honestly doesn't mean anything. It's just Hoover's marketing technique to make higher end models look more appealing to buyers, and they put a heavier price tag so it'll get people gravitating towards the higher end models that supposedly have a higher cleaning effectiveness per amp. But technically speaking, these things all came with the same motor. It just depends on what brush roll they came with. And as you can see, it only uses 7 amp motors and has brushed edge cleaning on both sides. Now let's go ahead and flip this thing underneath to show you the underside. here is your brush roll. I did put a dual row brush roll into this. It has medium stiff bristles. This is a used brush roll, so it isn't brand new by any means. So that's why the bristles are a little bit worn down. But it still cleans very good, I will say. I do like the grooming action of the dual row brush roll. The single row definitely works very good. And depending on what bristles it comes with, it definitely has good agitation. But this dual row definitely works good for picking up things like pet hair and all that kind of stuff. And well, let's go ahead and turn this thing on its side to show you the model number. It is Hoover Cleaner model U5059-930. 120 volts, 60 hertz, 7 amps. To date these things, the first 4 digits of the serial number decode the month and the year, so 12 of 95. So this vacuum was manufactured in December of 1995 for household use only, made in the USA. That is something you'll never see on a newer vacuum, it being made in the USA. You'll be lucky if you've even seen it. It's made in Mexico. So let's move up on the back here. Typical pre-1993 Hoover fare. It's got the gray body on the back as well as the gray power cord. You also have your attachments right here, your dusting brush, crevice tool, and upholstery tool. You have your extension wand right in here. And your plastic hose that mounts around like such. We'll show that later on in the video. So for now, let's go ahead and release the power cord. This is a fairly decent length cord. So let's go ahead and plug this guy on in. And we'll go to the part where you probably came to see the first time, and that's turn this thing on and demo it for you guys to see how it runs. Now, typical Hoover Elite fashion, your power switch is down on the side of the cleaner, which is actually a little plastic rod that runs down into the valley of the motor where an actual rocker switch is inside there. And so, before I turn this on, I would like to point out this thing is pretty noisy when it's running, but that's the nature of these vacuums. They're naturally loud, so headphone users, I advise turning down your volume for this. So, here we go. smooth running machine. And before we end the video, let's go ahead and demonstrate this thing in tool mode. Let me go ahead and unravel the hose for you real quick. This is how to take the hose off for if you have a plastic hose. Simply lift up this little door and the hose just pops in like that. Now, don't expect miracle suction power from this thing. Because this is a direct air machine, the suction is pretty abysmal. This thing is known to produce more airflow than suction. But it's pretty decent. Let's go ahead and put the hose back on the tool rack here. And there you go. Well, everybody, I hope you've enjoyed this FrankenHoover series on my vintage made Hoover Encore Supreme. Be sure and stay tuned, and don't forget to like, rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.